tomorrow. More of the same. Temperatures in the low 80s and overnight lows in the low 50s. Checking temps around town. 79 in Valencia, 79 in Canyon Country, and 80 degrees outside of our studios here in Newhall.
KHTS. This is Mike Lindsay, owner of UFC Gym Santa Clarita. If you're looking for a big gym with a small gym feel, UFC Gym Santa Clarita is your answer. Our clean, family-friendly, state-of-the-art facility offers various fitness classes such as spin, yoga, martial arts, boot camps, and even circuit and weight training. We even host Scott Wilkes Women's Self-Defense Clinic, which is free to our members and the community. At UFC Gym Santa Clarita, our certified trainers and coaches will help motivate and encourage you to reach your fitness goals.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, and I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
Move on from what's familiar and discover what's possible in your relationships. This is Jasmine Urbina, inviting you to tune in to The Inspirational Parent as my dad and I tap into a fresh perspective on modern parenting relationships and dish out the magical ingredients for effective parenting exclusively on KHTS. Catch us live every Friday on The Inspirational Parent from 12 to 1 or download our podcast at hometownstation.com.
KHTS, your hometown station.
Santa Clarita's hometown station, KHTS. I am Kyle Jellings, and I can't believe it, but 2017 is almost in the books, and I have a very special guest on the line. It is, do I say former mayor, or what do I say? What do you think?
Yeah, it's not like, how your senator's a lifetime title or anything, so... councilman's fine.
Okay,
I still do have a title.
Okay, you still have a title, so we'll go with Councilman Cameron Smyth joining me on the line. I appreciate you coming on, Councilman Smyth. And you were the mayor this past year. Oh, one thing I want to say, for those who don't know, Cameron Smyth, a solid follow on Instagram. So I'd just like to point that out. You're a solid follow. It's a good follow to follow on Instagram.
I appreciate that. I try to maintain... my social media presence just enough so I can track my kids, so I see what they're up to as well.
Okay,
so,
I was going to say you probably learned some stuff from your kids.
I have learned more than I probably wish I did know. So,
oh boy, okay.
So it's the Wild West out there in social media amongst the junior high set.
So I actually wanted to ask you specifically about that. Did you want to make an effort to be, kind of have a fingerprint, have a thumbprint on social media as mayor of Santa Clarita?
I did. As particularly during my campaign in 2016, we utilized social media pretty aggressively, and I thought it made sense to just kind of transition that effort from the campaign side to the mayoral side, and to use it as a good way to keep people informed about what's going on in the city, what's going on with me personally. And maximize that. And I think the city itself has a pretty complete social media presence, but I wanted to supplement that with my own.
He's Cameron Smyth. He is a council member now. He was the mayor this past year for 2017. 2017 is coming to a close. You left for a while. For those who don't know, you left you didn't leave the Santa Clarita Valley, but you left the city counciling. And then you came back. What did you see that made you want to come back and make a run at city council?
Sure. After I left the legislature in 2012, I kind of spent the next 4 years doing what most Santa Clarita families, were doing, which is, being a parent, going to work every day. And I realized kind of during that time that there was just, a little bit of a void at City Hall, meaning that, 60% of the city is 45 and under. And that's a result of, the large number of families we have here. And there was just nobody on the council that was able to provide that perspective that most people in Santa Clarita were experiencing on a day-to-day basis. And so I thought, I could provide that, given the fact that I have, 3 kids between the, now between the ages of 14 and 7, at different schools. And so I thought it was important to have that, to be able to offer that different perspective to the council.
Did you, in your mayoral stint there, were you able? What did you want to accomplish? This is your first year being on the council. So, what did you want to accomplish? Have you accomplished it? I know you certainly have more work to do, but what do you see as your biggest accomplishments over the last year?
It's funny. You learn quickly, and I learned this when I went in the legislature, that what you have planned to do doesn't necessarily end up being what you end up doing. Circumstances create your time, and I think first couple things right off the gate in beginning of the year, we had record-setting rain, which created some flooding, and some homes were certainly put in jeopardy, and so we needed to work with all the other state agencies to make sure that those debris basins got cleared. People had places to go for shelter for their animals, and so we tackled that. We had to fill the vacancy in the city on the city council with Dante Acosta being elected to the legislature. We, as a council, had to determine how we were going to fill that seat, and we did that with Bill Miranda. And so those are kind of the issues that just present themselves, whether you plan for them or not. The one issue that I did plan to tackle, and I think we made some great strides in, was in addressing the issue of homelessness here in the city. I created an ad hoc council committee where we work with the providers and others of homeless services, and look for ways to improve that service, and we'll continue to do that going into 2018.
He's Councilmember Cameron Smyth. He's joining me on the phone on your hometown station, KHTS. And it's the 30th. We had the big 30th celebration before Christmas. How do you feel about the Santa Clarita? You've been here your whole life. You're kind of a lifer. The Smyth name is on several roads all over the Santa Clarita Valley. So how do you feel about the city being, 30 years old? How do you see the future of the city? Like just past, present, and future. Give me the Smyth version.
Sure. Well, first off, of course, those roads are named after my dad.
Yes.
I don't know what there's left for me. He took all the good. He took all the good stuff. But
there's some condominiums we can name after you somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Exactly. Santa Clarita is. We really have changed. We've grown to being the third largest city in LA County. We are a much more diverse city when it comes to demographics. And I think all of those things are a positive. I think, particularly the diversity in the community, we're a better city for it. But then there are still a lot of things that haven't changed from this town, and that's really the people. Santa Clarita is a unique place, and sometimes it sounds a little hokey for me to say that. But when you look at issues that that we had this year, again, when I mentioned the floods, with the rains, when I talk about the fires we had. This year, and then the tragedy in Las Vegas, the massacre in Las Vegas, where we had hundreds of Santa Clarita residents were at the event, and several of them, nearly a dozen, were actually shot. And when the city joined with Real Life Church to do a prayer vigil, a support vigil, we had several thousand people show up just to kind of put their arms around people that they didn't even know and say, look, we're here for you. We have love for you. We're going to support you in any way you can or you need. And those are things that make Santa Clarita unique, that was always kind of there before we became a city and has persisted throughout the last 30 years.
Again, we're speaking with Cameron Smyth. He's a council member here for the city of Santa Clarita. And I wanted to ask you, it's the end of the year. What are your, what are your resolutions for the city? I know if you don't believe in that thing, but what are your goals for 2018?
Sure. I think, what I would love for us not to have to add another name to the Memorial Garden at Central Park. Unfortunately, we had to add, I believe, 2 names of young people that were killed on our roads this year, and we've really increased our presence on our traffic patrols to really try to get people to slow down and continue with our DUI enforcement. So, I mean, that's something that would be wonderful if we didn't have to add any more names to that memorial. I think we want to continue, the usual of maintaining ourselves as a great, financially sound city. We've got a lot of good things coming online that probably won't come online until 2019 or 2020. Things like our new sheriff's station, the new library center in Saugus, a new Canyon Country community center. All of those things are in progress, and I kind of view 2018 as the year where you're not going to see a lot of sexy things, a lot of big splashes, but we're doing a lot of that groundwork that needs to be done. So you'll see things happening in 2019 and 2020 when some of the bigger capital projects open their doors.
Awesome stuff. Cameron, thanks you for coming on. I appreciate you stopping by and giving this little year in review.
You got it. Appreciate the call.
And again, what is it? So is it at Cameron Smyth? Again, a solid follow on Twitter.
Yeah, whether Twitter
on Instagram.
Or Instagram. Yeah, it's Cameron M. Smyth on Instagram, and I think it's at Cameron _Smyth on Twitter. And for those of us of a certain age, you can always track me down on Facebook as well. So,
well, you and I just talked about under 45 is 60% of the Santa Clarita Valley. So we got to make sure we're covering Instagram and Twitter.
Snapchat's my next future, I think.
Oh, boy.
So that's where I'm.
Oh, boy. All right.
My kids will love that.
We'll talk about that later. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, man.
That was Councilmember Smyth on your hometown station, KHTS.
Your hometown station.